in-depth informational of the ADM Mod 2 13.9-inch complete upper receiver chambered in 223 Wylde. I'll go over their buffer tube kit and when it makes sense to choose a 13.9. Start with the main components of the upper and then I'll get more into the specs. ADM UIC billet upper, Radian SD charging handle, ADM premium bolt carrier group, ADM 13-inch free float handguard, Criterion Core 13.9-inch barrel, mid-length gas system, Surefire 3-prong flash hider. Mod 2 typically comes with the Radian Raptor, which is a good charging handle to come stock. I requested the SD since I plan to shoot suppressed. My favorite charging handle because the thickness of the latches, the angle of them, and it has good serrations. When I'm pulling it back, my finger has less chance to slip. Long hook also creates a big pocket. I wish Radian would add a gas diversion lip up top, but it still does a good job of reducing gas to the face with these holes. ADM's premium BCG with melanite nitride finish, corrosive resistant and glossy smooth, high pressure tested hardened fasteners and strong material choices overall. Good quality BCG for the price. All of these have an OD green anodized finish, some color variation between anodizing because it's a chemical process. I prefer the durability of the finish and the shades are pretty close to the same. 7075 T6 aluminum billet upper, short and forward assist, which is good for lefties, but also like this as a right-handed shooter, pulling the charging handle from the right side to check the chamber. Metal dust cover that matches the design of the lower receiver. Because it's a billet upper, it has thicker material overall, especially on the left-hand side, which prevents the use of the Magpul bad lever because it hits on that thicker area. Normal bolt catches will work fine. This is the Radian. Phase 5 makes a similar battery control device that will work because it's a one-piece bolt catch and lever unit. Small downside to that is it doesn't curve off at an angle. It comes straight down and in, so for flat face triggers, it doesn't provide as much room in between the lever and the trigger. Battle Arms EBC does curve at an angle and works with most billet uppers, but not all. 13-inch M-LOK handguard made from 6061 T6 aluminum, lightweight aluminum barrel nut, very solid rail lockup, 2 clamping screws, anti-walk screw, set screw, and an anti-rotational pin that makes for a strong receiver to rail connection. 3-sided M-LOK, which I typically prefer 7-sided, but they did that to shed some weight. M-LOK portions are thicker and raised for mounting accessories compared to the oval rounded sides. They shed a lot of weight on the rail with the cut Picatinny ovals in the top and the ovals on the side with the thinner material. The rail being lighter and thinner in certain areas, it's more likely to heat up faster, but it'll also cool down faster. Rounded all the edges of the Picatinny, which makes this not as sharp. Rail comes all the way out to the muzzle device, which I like for mounting accessories. 13.9-inch Criterion Core barrel, hand-lapped 1-to-8 twist with nitride finish, chambered in 223 Wylde. Core model is a modern continuous taper with steel redistributed around the chamber area. Helps with weight distribution and heat dissipation. Balance the weight with LPVOs, lights, lasers, suppressors, not increasing the front end weight. Button rifled increases accuracy, speed, and reduces fouling. Hand lapping helps with accuracy and reliability. 1-to-8 twist gives superior accuracy, stabilizing a wider range of ammo and grain weight. Nitride finish also aids in accuracy, lower friction, reduces throat erosion, corrosion resistance, and makes it easier to clean. Nitride's great for semi-auto, usually not preferred for sustained full auto. Criterion barrels on their website are chrome lined, but ADM's barrels have the nitride finish. Still uses 4150 CMV steel, which is a common choice for durability and heat tolerance. Match grade 223 Wylde barrel can shoot both 223 and 5.56. Helps with consistency, superior groupings, and tighter tolerance for a bigger range of ammo. Merges both roles of a precision and duty rifle. Mid-length gas tube with a 0.625-inch dimpled gas block secured with a set screw. Very precisely gassed, making for a soft recoil impulse. Smooth to shoot and not overgassed. ADM recommended the H1 buffer, which comes in 90% of their rifles, which should work well with the flow-through Surefire RC4 Mini I'm planning to use. Surefire 3-prong flash hider was another request. Chose it because it's a great flash hider and works best with their suppressors. Their main Surefire offering is the 3-prong war comp, which is great unsuppressed, but doesn't have the labor and seals, which makes Surefire suppressors carbon lock much easier. Surefire's open time devices make a tuning fork sound, which some people find annoying. They definitely should have fixed that by now, but it doesn't really bother me. They did pin and weld the muzzle device, which brings it to the overall 16-inch length, allowing me to run a stock without form winding it, turning it into an SBR. Pretty light upper, only weighing 4 pounds, 0.3 ounces, in comparison to the Super Duty 13.9 that weighs 4 pounds, 3 ounces, and this has a slightly longer rail. Costs $1,300 in the black color, which I think is reasonable for a high-end upper receiver. ADM HD carbine length buffer tube kit costs $174, which is pretty expensive compared to other options, but it has some interesting features. H1 buffer is the common weight of 3.8 ounces. Enhanced 10-position buffer tube, which allows for more fine-tuning of your stock. Drain holes at the bottom. Aluminum billet anti-rotational QD end plate, which I don't see much. Billet lightweight castle nut. Common carbine spring that also comes with the buffer retainer spring, and Vibratite VC3. Castle nut isn't meant to be staked because it's aluminum, so Vibratite works fine for the install. I do also like the subtle logo placements on the parts. One on the handguard, top of the receiver, on the charging handle, and on the bolt carrier. ADM does recommend high-quality brass case ammo to feed reliably with this upper because because of the precise gas tube size, although 55 grain does work fine, and having that 1 to 8 twist barrel gives a variety of stabilization for different grain weight. Overall, I think this is a very high quality upper with great components for the price. This upper replaced my BCM 14.5 ELW after I found out it was not built for suppression. Criterion barrels like this core specifically are built for suppressed use. This 13.9 is what I'm continuing on for my do-it-all build. If I was looking into this upper back when I started this, I would have likely gotten the complete ADM Mod 2 rifle because they have probably the best ambi lower with a great right side bolt release that's more easily activated because of the shape of it. Also, having a billet upper and lower, the fitment would have been tighter. On this arrow lower, it's about the same tightness and wobble compared to my BCM and Super Duty upper. The full cost of the ADM Mod 2 rifle is $2,200, which again I think is reasonable compared to other high-end rifles. They offer a lot of customization with different colors, full camel rifles, and even things like being able to swap the charging handle and muzzle device. This is the first company I've bought from that has allowed me to swap something, which saves me time and money and allows me to get exactly what I want. There were only two common or easy to get 13.9 uppers. It was either this or the Geissele Super Duty. I already have a 10.3 Super Duty and wanted to go with this because it's a little bit different and leans more into the do-it-all precision type build since I'm going to be shooting more long range with this. I did like being able to get this in the OD green anodized, and this being super lightweight with putting a suppressor on there, it makes for a great balance to help fit into that category. The main pros of this upper over the Super Duty is the Criterion barrel having the edge on accuracy, being able to achieve sub MOA groups depending on the ammo used, the short and forward assist, the availability of different customization. Dust cover is a little higher quality and has that design rather than the mil spec. Different finishes, whether it's anodized or Cerakote, rounding on the pick rail, and the overall weight savings. Pros for the Super Duty is a stronger rail, which ADM is supposed to be up there with Geissele in regards to lockup, has a better bolt carrier group, more rated for full auto, and having the wider compatibility with battery control devices like the Magpul bad lever. Only comes with a Huxworks flash hider, so if you want something else, you'd have to install that. They're listed for the same price, but depending on where you get the Super Duty, you can get it for about 100 to 150 less. Super Duty leans more towards combat, while the ADM leans more towards precision, although the ADM can be used for hard use. Whether you go with the 13.9 or 14.5 depends on if you're going to be using your rifle primarily unsuppressed or suppressed, what suppressor and muzzle device you're using. If you're going to mainly be shooting unsuppressed, the 14.5 makes more sense because you're getting more bullet velocity, bigger variety of muzzle devices to choose from, one pin and welding to get you to the 16-inch barrel length requirement, and there's a lot more 14.5 upper offerings. I chose the 13.9 because I'm mainly going to be shooting the suppressed with the Surefire RC4 Mini 5.56, which keeps my length as short as possible. Since the Surefire 3-prong flash hider adds about 2.6 to 2.7 inches of length to the barrel, that takes me to 16.1 to 16.2 inches. And because of the design of the muzzle device, it keeps the suppressor mounted as far back to the barrel as possible. While on some other suppressors and extended muzzle devices, it pushes the suppressor mounting point further. For example, the Huxworks extended muzzle device. If the suppressor mounting point moves forward, not only are you increasing the overall length that you were trying to subtract by going with a shorter 13.9 barrel, but you're just getting a longer muzzle device base without getting any better performance or flash suppression from the device. This is going to vary on the type of muzzle device suppressor combo, the company that is choosing the muzzle device, and what method of install on the pin and weld they do. For example, it looks like ADM uses the Huxworks extended flash hider, while Geissele uses the standard length Huxworks flash hider with a spacer that they said brings the total length to 16.1 to 16.2 inches, which is the same as this. It might come down to only points of an inch or negligible velocity differences, so it has to be treated on a case-by-case basis if you do want the shortest possible with a specific muzzle device you desire, and you're willing to take a loss of about 30 feet per second on bullet velocity, then the 13.9 might make sense for you. The 14.5 tends to be the go-to because of all the options, the wide variety of compatibility, and it has the most bullet velocity. The RC4 Mini I plan to use will make up for the added velocity I lost on the shorter barrel length, while still keeping the overall package as short as possible when using this specific combination. RC4 Mini adds about 3 inches in length, which takes me to about 19.1 to 19.2 inches. If you do want a 13.9, just try to have an overall understanding of what muzzle device and suppressor you might want. If you're truly keeping it shorter, what upper you want, and future plans for that upper to figure out if it's worth it or best for you. If you want to see more videos like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to help support the channel, and thank you for watching.